Hey, over here. First time on the Silk Road? I've got some real good stuff for you to take a look at. Maybe buy. I'll give you a fair price. Let's see, I got some real vintage stuff. Vines, some addicting games. I got a Homestar Runner webcomic. I see the Neopets have caught your eye. What's that? Podcats? Oh yeah, I think I have one around here somewhere. Newer if you're into that sort of thing, and these folks are some real freaks. But I'll give it to you for a 5-star review, maybe? Pleasure doing business with you.
Oh my god. Wow.
Podcasts.
Podcasts.
That's Minnie's spinoff. It's just her the whole time.
Podcast.
Podcast.
Called podcasts.
The Podcat Podcast. Welcome back to Between Pages and Friends, a book club podcast hosted by Con and Lauren, two besties who read a lot of books, and Jon and Kyle, their gamer-turned-reader husbands who've agreed to read with them. I'm Jon.
I'm Con.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Lauren. Today we are discussing chapters 10 through 17 of Carl's Doomsday Scenario. This is a book club style podcast and is a safe space to read along with us, spoiler-free, as Con and Jon are first-time readers themselves. That said, while there will be no spoilers for future chapter sections, we will be freely talking about the series up until the end of chapter 17 tonight, so consider yourself warned.
And if you want to talk about it, you should join our Patreon family. All tiers give you access to our Discord where you can chat about each episode however you like, spoilers or not. $5 a month opens the door to live events, our book club, reading challenges, and the full archive of past content. Step up to $10 a month and you'll enjoy early ad-free episodes, merch discounts, voting privileges, a private hangout space, and even more ways to connect with us.
And now a message from a listener like you. Here's a recent 5-star review on Apple Podcasts from our new bestie, movie_going, titled The Four Friends of Books. I just found this podcast while searching for thoughts on Fourth Wing. After listening to all their episodes on the first book, I am following their path while reading the second. They are such a fun dynamic, with Con and Lauren being the experts and Jon and Kyle being the newcomers to the books like myself. I introduced my wife to the pod, and she even picked a book to read based on things they have already covered so we can follow along with other books. Definitely would recommend them. Aw, thanks, movie going.
Oh my gosh.
And movie going's wife.
Yeah.
Mrs. Movie Going. Welcome. Wow.
If you want a little shout out on the pod like that one, we'd love for you to write a quick review for our show on Apple Podcasts or Audible. It only takes a moment and it helps our show reach new crawlers.
Hello, crawlers. The system has a brief update before the broadcast continues. Today we celebrate a rare and important event. It's Kyle's birthday! Whoop, whoop, whoop. Happy birthday, Kyle! Yes, the very same Kyle who introduced us all to Dungeon Crawler Carl, consistently educates us on approximately 1 million random topics, and somehow manages to predict the endings of the books we read with borderline suspicious accuracy. Yeah. But more than that, Kyle, you are an incredible husband, the absolute best dad to our girls, and we are so lucky to do life with you. Thank you for sticking with me when things get tough and being the voice of reason when my anxiety goes wild. I literally could not imagine my life without you. I love you so much. Everybody, make sure you send him a big happy birthday in the comments. Now get back out there, crawler, and read.
Oh, thanks so much.
Birthday.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yay. And in the spirit of this birthday, welcome to Kyle's Declassified Fantasy Pronunciation Guide. The part of the show where I will still do the pronouncing. I now pronounce you birthday. Okay, first up in places, we have the establishments in the Skyfowl town. These include the Belly Rubbed Pig, where Mordecai was stealing some potion ingredients from the kitchen, the Boll Weevil and the Chowder Pub, the One-Eyed Narwhal Pub, the Hot Schnitzel, Lucky's General Goods, and Hobgobs and Broomsticks. The two main clubs in the Overcity are the Desperado Club and Club Vanquisher. Inside the Desperado Club, I just thought these were funny. There are signs that read Casino, the Hunting Grounds, Gildorama, Bitches, Penis Parade, Jobs, the Silk Road, and Restrooms. Very important information. In characters this week, we have Ringmaster Redstone Grimaldi, once a simple dwarf, now a hulking pestiferous vine and level 85 city boss. Apollon the Mighty, the strongman ogre with the ice cream stand. Yum. Gum Gum, R.I.P. And then proprietors and employees mentioned of these establishments. What?
That's it. Apollon got more than that, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
who cares?
I guess that's true.
It's just Gum Gum.
Just Gum Gum. Just Gum Gum. Bless her.
Give me Gum
R.I.P.
Gum.
Gum gum, give me gum gum. We just watched Night at the Museum recently with our kids in our defense.
Perfect. No notes. Okay. Proprietors and employees mentioned of these establishments are Fitz from the One-Eyed Narwhal, Edge Dancer from Lucky's, Talon Strong, Carabelle, the crocodilian from the Desperado Club, Quint, the half gin, half garbage scowl and Desperado Club pharmacist, and then Pustule, the hobgoblin. I hate saying that name. I'm so sorry. Then we have Vicente, the elf that Carl and Donut looted, part of the 201st Security Group Magical Ops. Brad _the Chad 69, the Instagram handle of B's ex, Brad. Magistrate Featherfall, apparently the person who issued the gate pass that Gum Gum had in her inventory. In Species and Mobs, we have Clammy the Clown, street urchins, described by the AI as pokey little puppies, and the Ruins version of a Roomba. Sacs are a race of people mentioned by Zev, but she can't tell us about them yet. And then a Krasu is a flying head with trailing organs who are also vampires. Lauren, vampires, yay! In world building, Carl and Donut are about to go on a show called Danger Zone with Ripper Wonton. This is run by an entity called Sensation Entertainment Inc. from one of these center systems. Carl receives an achievement called Haji for completing a quest in an unusual way, and this is one of the rare achievements that can be rewarded more than once. Enchanted Fang Caps of the Expectorating Tizarek, which, fun fact, is a phlegmy sea monster. And then potion ingredients mentioned were Bryn Root and Bejeweled Sap. The Chistera is the scoop that Carl receives as a gift from the Sport High Ally. Shout out to John. Very excited to talk about that. And then a Lich is an undead magic user, and according to Mordecai, pretty nasty monsters who tend to be smart. Lastly, in Fake Gods, this week we have Apido, aka the Oak Mother, the mother of all gods. I keep wanting to say this like Apito, because that's Spanish for whistle, but he kept saying Apido, and I really had to make myself think about how to say that in Spanglish instead of. And that's all I have for you today. Take it away, Juan.
All right, here's Kyle's chapter recaps, read by me. Chapter 10. Ticket in hand, Carl walks into the big top. As he makes his way inside, he is hit with a memory of going to a circus with his mother, particularly the smell and the joy that it brought him as a little kid. He finally reaches Grimaldi in the form of a massive pestiferous vine and gets the notification for a level 85 elite city boss. Then we get a huge info dump here on Carl and Mordecai's conversation about basically how to deal with this thing, how this particular questline show is a trope, how the vine infects other mobs, how to kill it, which is basically to poison it. So Carl poisons himself and drips some of his contaminated blood on one of the roots and waits. Chapter 11. And now we get into some juicy strategy and gameplay here from Carl. Moves that Donut would certainly be proud of. He chats with Zev and relays a direct message through her to the producers of the Vengeance of the Daughter program. To sum up, he knew that this was only the origin story of what is primarily Signet's questline, and suspected that they counted on him to die in the tent, whether trying to kill Grimaldi or simply knocking the tent down. So, Carl's proposal is to request to be a regular on their show if he and Donut survive the night, agreeing to only complete elite quests related to this questline if they make it to the 6th floor. And he basically lays out how their ratings look right now, and if they don't agree, he's going to undo what he just did and literally just sit in the tent all night and wait, doing nothing. Zev relays the message, and they agree. In a twist of events, Carl does heal Grimaldi, casts his wisp armor for some mind control resistance, and downs one of the ogre's worm cones. With Grimaldi now in his head, Carl walks straight out to Signet and basically makes her and Grimaldi talk to each other, and his little stunt works, as Grimaldi allows her to walk into the tent, finishing this quest. Carl throws up the remainder of the dead worms when Mordecai messages that Donut's health is dropping. Chapter 12. He arrives to find both Mongo and Donut's health in the red, being attacked by some kind of street urchins, which is this floor's janitor mob. Carl gets them to stop attacking, which allows Donut's health to start rising slowly, then has Mordecai help him whip up a healing potion for Mongo, and they settle in for the rest of the night to wait for Donut to wake up. And she does, claiming a strange dream about Ferdinand, by the way. They head out to find the Skyfowl settlement, passing the circus along the way, which now shows a stairwell to the 4th floor. Then we get some insight from Carl here about how Donut seems to be maturing slightly and slowly coming into her own. They continue on, they kill some mobs and level up some skills, and they finally reach the Skyfowl settlement and get a view of the populace and also catch a glimpse of the Desperado Club before meeting up with Mordecai. Chapter 13, talking with him about the settlement, he also provides a passing sentence about how the 6th floor is thick with vegetation and that Audette made him spend a lot of time on alchemy and potions during that floor, Carl making a remark about how he'll definitely need pants. Both Carl and Donut get a fan box, but they can't open it for a certain amount of time because their followers actually vote on what they get in this box. How fun. They get a few more achievements and do open some loot boxes. They receive something called Fang Caps, which they end up giving to Mongo, and this gives him some pretty sweet buffs on a bite attack. Plus, they spark when he clicks them together, which is honestly pretty sweet. Carl gets a scroll of upgrade that is used on one random piece of gear, and wouldn't you know it, his big boy boxers get the upgrade, adding some points to dexterity, intelligence, and constitution, but most importantly, gives him a couple buffs for attacks and skills that originate below the waist, i.e. using his feet. So he's not getting pants anytime soon. He also gets a casino chip to use in the Desperado Club casino for one roll of roulette. Chapter 14, they head out into the settlement and find a pub where they'll be staying and to catch some of the next recap episode. They learn from Mordecai that the lady with the goats lost some after an incident, but gained 2 upgraded sheep with the enhanced pet biscuits. One turned into a hellspawn familiar, one of the most powerful pets in the game, and a low-level orc named Gum Gum approaches them inside asking for help, but Mordecai promptly shoos her away. The next day, the plan was to shop and find and kill the neighborhood boss. They hit up some stores where they sold a bunch of stuff, at one point purchasing a magical pet carrier from Mongo, and then they do some grinding, leveling up a few things, and finally making it to the neighborhood boss. And this week's not really a boss moji battle.
Yay! Woohoo!
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's it.
And this is what I got
And
for
let's
you.
move on.
2 swords crossing.
Uh-huh.
That's not a euphemism.
Oh.
The explosive BAM symbol and guy shrugging. Whatever.
Woo! Yeah, boss moji
Yes.
It sounded lame anyway. What a bunch of bullshit. On their way back, they find Gum Gum stacking up a bunch of dead bodies outside the wall, hookers to be exact, and they get a new quest titled The Sex Workers Who Fell from the Heavens. Chapter 15. Time to check out the Desperado Club with Mordecai. The bouncer fills them in on some kind of incident that happened the night before as they head inside. They get to use this cool little feature in the club that gives them like a bubble over their head to drown out the noise. It's pretty cool. Mordecai lets them know that whenever they're inside the club, they'll be in the same room as anybody who is inside the Desperado Club on the same level, but they'll exit where they entered. There are some doors that lead to different areas around as well. And then they meet Quint, their resident pharmacist, aka drug dealer. Quint also used to be a crawler and also recommends they do not take a deal on the 10th floor. And then Donut is already drunk. They trade 3 moonshines for what is essentially a starter potions kit. Carl asks Quint what happened the night before. Apparently, Lucia was there, had her dogs in the playroom, and apparently they went berserk, killed some pets, and also a few other people. Lucia eventually cast a spell that froze the entire room, one-tapped an elite gnoll, and left. Donut makes a comment about Lucia's dogs, and shortly after gets a notification that her fan box is ready. Interesting. Carl and Mordecai have a little heart-to-heart about his new manager position. We get some info about how some of the protection for them works within the system, and how managers get way more money for crawlers surviving. But there was still something Carl mentions that he wasn't quite saying. Chapter 16, they head over to another market called the Silk Road, where they meet a hobgoblin named Pushul that sells a lot of bomb and trap stuff. Mordecai is still gathering up a bunch of stuff for potions as well. Once they're all finished there, Donut and Carl make their way back to the inn. Donut lets Mongo out on the way there, and he almost immediately runs off into one of the dark alleys. And they come upon a gruesome scene. Ugly-looking flying heads with organs called Krassu around a dead Gum-Gum. Their torch scares them off, but then they are approached by some other elf creature who apparently knows who they are, and they make quick work of them to get them to shut up, basically. Chapter 17, they come to find out that he was a city elf. He had some kind of military shirt on with a patch or two that Donut somehow knows about, and they get a gate pass and a mysterious letter off of Gum-Gum. And they agree that, well, now they kind of have to do the quest because she would probably still be alive if they hadn't gotten involved. They make it back to the inn and open their fan boxes. Donut gets a picture of Bee, and it's the same picture that Carl broke up with her over. Carl gets a chistera, the scoop-like contraption that High players wear on their hand. He tests it using a few pieces of fruit, and then he is able to unequip it into the form of a bracer that fits over his gauntlet, and both can be used interchangeably, and he can summon anything from his inventory into the chistera. Handy. Not to mention, it conforms to whatever size throwable that he equips. Even more handy. Mordecai eventually takes a look at the city elf's uniform and explains that he was part of a gang called the 201st Security Group that apparently considers themselves protectors of the Skyfowls in a somewhat religious cult, god-worshipping kind of way regarding Apido, the mother of all gods. They tell Mordecai that they'll be checking out Gum-Gum's quest, and they also read the mysterious letter and the gate pass. The gate pass is basically a get-out-of-jail-free card signed off by one Magistrate Featherfall. And with the letter and the Krassu, Mordecai thinks that they're dealing with a lich. Donut gets an idea and starts asking the innkeep Fitz about the Krassu and Gum-Gum. He casually drops that the magistrate is a black cleric, being able to control the undead. They turn in for the night, Carl mentioning to Donut that they'll find out who did this and make them pay. And then they hear a thump on the roof and a crashing into the street. They wake the next morning to find a dead human prostitute with words scrawled onto her flesh. No, you won't.
Oh my gosh. What could it be? Come on, dum-dums, let's learn about Gum-Gum.
Nice.
Because it's your birthday episode, we'll let it pass.
Okay, that's true.
You get a gate pass for this episode, Kyle.
Well, okay, hold on. I'm totally
Maybe we
rethinking
shouldn't
my
tell him
approach
that. Hold
here.
on, wait.
You got it for that one moment just
Okay.
now. You have used it.
You've already used it.
Well, I'll begin this section then just with my little art that I put in of Clammy the Clown, one of the first clowns we meet when walking into the tent. Looks a little bit different than the clowns we met before, for sure.
He's not
I
bad.
don't like him.
Yeah, he's just a big
I'd
asshole.
rather-
Worse.
I'd prefer
his
the
little hat.
Slender Clowns if we could go back to those. That'd be great.
And he's got the little worm sticking out his mouth.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Not
the
bad.
same artist who did the Slender Clown, though.
Oh.
Nice.
So he's got that
that's
going
fun.
for him.
They did great on the art. I'm not judging the
No,
art.
it's
art.
Yeah. No,
It's
the
just
art
the
is
character.
It's a little too
Yeah.
good.
We're just wondering why this was the character you chose to draw.
My first note is about Carl's whole monologue in this chapter about his mother and his memories of the circus, and he's doing all this reflection, and there's a lot of just kind of character development and glimpses into his past, and then he says, "But you don't want to hear about any of this shit, do you? It's not important." And I wrote, "Carl, I'm literally reading a 10-book series about you. Please do go on. Would love to learn more about this." Although this seemed like a really funny, random fourth wall break to me, because I don't think this happens very often. I feel like I don't notice it if it does, but you literally was just like, "You don't want to hear about this."
There was one earlier in the same book where he was like, "Now, if you've never been attacked by,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true.
a bear on skates or whatever it was."
It is rare, though, that he does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But during all of this little, I don't know, flashback moment for him with his mom and stuff, he had said, "It was during that time she'd taken me to the circus. It hadn't been one of the major traveling circuses like the Ringling Brothers, but a small ghetto one. Anyone who has ever lived in the American Southwest knows exactly what I'm talking about. Even the little kid me registered that this was a low rent version of the real deal." And I wrote, I'm from the Midwest, but I still know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Put a
That's the
perfect
kind of
picture
circus
in
my
head.
ex joined.
Your ex joined the circus? Hold on.
Yeah, after
Everyone
we broke
stop
up.
the episode.
What was their act?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Crazy.
Anyway, then I met John. So,
Literally next?
yeah, actually. Well,
even
I mean, yeah.
Give or take.
Give or take a few Tinder dates.
I don't remember which one he was.
He's just
He
the
was
one that
one
didn't
of them
ghost.
after.
Yeah, you stuck around. All right. Well,
Okay.
back to the book. Carl does go to the circus and it, has this whole little memory of it and stuff. And we find out that it's a freaking city boss, like jaw on the floor freak out. And the AI itself also freaked out. It said, "You've discovered a city boss." That's right. Let me say that again for the a-holes in the back. A city effing boss. I just went, oh, snap. It's happening.
Also, I would
Oh,
like to
it's
say that I sort of called that. So
job.
I'm proud of myself for that. Because I said Grimaldi was still alive and he was probably going to be one of the biggest bosses that they saw on this floor.
Nice.
Unless there's a lot more coming. I'm sure there is. Anyway.
I mean, there's hookers involved, so something's coming. Okay, sorry.
Well, they're dead, Lauren.
Oh,
I
mean-
hope not.
somebody had to kill. Okay, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
officer,
They
that
were
lady
alive
right
at-
there.
They were alive at some point to get killed. Okay, whatever.
Okay, my next note is that the backstory that we get on Grimaldi and his little description was so sad. And I said, great work, writing team, for this little backstory on him, because we just have heard little bits and pieces so far. But then them saying the whole thing about how, like, when the cataclysm came, he was center stage or whatever, in the center of the ring, and that's where he still stands today, protecting his family. I was like, oh no.
You're like, I am tuning in.
Yeah.
And watching that show.
Oh man.
I thought it was really funny when Mordecai was talking about just like all the shows in general and talking about like, oh, there's always this type of a thing that happens and like, oh, this is classic. And so he's like, the pestiferous vines are, what are they called? It's like a trope for these shows. I was like, oh yeah, of course, the pestiferous vine trope. I so recognize that. It's a classic.
Kiss him every time.
It's even in this book. It's like, come on.
And Carl's still on the bleachers here. He's kind of getting ready to do what he's going to do and poison the vine. And it says, assuming Mordecai's information was correct and still valid, then I could kill Grimaldi right now from my spot in the bleachers. Still, I was nervous. And this was before we kind of find out like his true plan. At this moment, I was like, I'm really surprised that he's just going straight for killing it instead of just rigging up all the foundation poles to blow, since he's like has such a thing for like traps and dynamite and stuff. It's just like he could literally plant stuff there and then just like walk out. But I don't know. It seemed like an unnecessary risk, but then obviously shortly after we kind of see what his true plan was.
Yes.
That's kind of cool though, because like we've been seeing him like hone that skill, but then he was putting a lot of trust in Mordecai by trying something
And
different
Zev.
that surprised everybody. Yeah, and Zev.
Yeah, and that was sort of goes into my next note where I just love to see him cheesing another boss that should be above his level. Like, not only because having like flat out fights, like if he just went around punching and kicking stuff all the time, would eventually get tedious. But I also love to see systems be used against the very people that made it. So like,
Nice.
they set up the rules and everything. And he's like, oh, I'm just following the rules, easy kill.
That's what's fun about like the lit RPG is because you really do understand all the rules, or like you have a good understanding of that, and then they can twist it, and it's not like you're super confused on how that worked or whatever.
And then
so.
maybe the
Yeah.
next time
It's
she'll
fun.
come back and be like, oh, we patched it, so you can't do it again. So they got to find like some new thing to do.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun. So, chapter 11, Zev was saying, she's like talking to Carl, and she says, it's amazing. Both of these dramas playing out at the same time. And this was before we knew what was going on, and like got a call back to it later. So I highlighted it and wrote, excuse me, what is the other drama? I was very concerned for Donut in this moment, and I'm glad that she's okay.
I didn't realize that we didn't know at
Oh.
this point. I just went through like, I'm pretty sure this is this.
It was, they did call back to it later, but
Yeah.
I was very concerned in this moment. Oh my gosh, this deal that Carl makes like through Zev in the middle of the scene with the production company 10 out of 10. I was all caps typing through this whole thing. I was like, yes, Carl, with the production company deal, you are expensive, baby. So
Know
excited.
your worth.
Know your worth, Carl. Oh, I love it. So this is when he was telling them that he wanted to be on the show as a regular. Like if he and Donut survive, then he'll like exclusively complete these quests with Vengeance of the Daughter on these lower floors. So I just so good.
Yep, and they come back, and Zev says it's a deal. They say, and I quote, "Let's see what you got for us, Crawler. If your stupid ass can get out of this, we look forward to working with you in the future." And I was right there along with you. I was like, this is bonkers. This is effing crazy what's happening here. I just like, you see so much of the chess from Donut that like when Carl gets his chance to really like get into playing the game, you're like, I was like so surprised. I was like, oh, my boy Carl spicing things up in the story. Let's go. Yeah. This is good.
And then I just laughed whenever Apollon the ogre serving the worm-based ice cream, like as Carl eats it, is looking at him like, "What are you doing, dude?" Like even him is just like, "You really shouldn't be doing." And we learn later that those are all people who are like somewhere in there, so he probably truly was being like, "Don't do it."
Yeah.
But it was gross.
Yeah. Well, and then Jeff's voice when Carl says delicious while his mouth is full of all of them was
Delicious.
like for voice acting really well done because I really hated it. Like because it was like he did it so well. It made me actually cringe. It was gross.
I would love to know if Jeff Hayes gets grossed out like while he's doing some of those voices. If there's anything like I want to know if there's anything that's made him cringe really hard or if he's just like so used to it because this is what he does all the time.
Well, and how many voices does he practice before he even gets to the one he wants it to be?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we got to write these down.
Got ready.
Yeah.
And speaking of Jeff Hayes, my next note was that as disgusting and creepy as the parasitic worms are, the voices that he uses for them in this moment, where there's like 4 different ones speaking back to back, were like kind of hilarious. And I was like laughing and cringing at the same time.
That's the perfect description of this book. Like,
Yes.
laughing and cringing at the same time.
I really liked the worm that said "Gooble gobble, one of us," because it's like a reference to a really old circus movie. I was like, "Wow, that's a pretty valid."
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like from the
that's funny.
1930s. I think it's called Freaks. It's pretty old.
All right.
Well,
But they all sit at the table. They're going gooble gobble, one of us, one of us.
Wow.
I'm so glad you knew that. Oh, I got very excited and again still grossed out though when like it was like the worms talking back to back and then all of a sudden it said Carl. This was a new voice. It wasn't the all voices at once of the parasites. This was Grimaldi and I wrote, "Oh my god, it's Vecna!"
You called that
He's
too.
here. I love this. But I know we just talked about this. I had another note in here about how much I love seeing like Carl and Donut start to combine some of the skills and potions and inventory that they have for these like schemes and how they have their little playbook going. It's so cool. But this was the part where it says, "I felt the mental tug that attempted to get me to stop, but thanks to my wisp armor's ability to negate mind control effects, I still had autonomy over myself, but only for the next 5 minutes." So it was like using all of these little... A lot of them I feel like are things they're just now receiving and then they're able to use it right away. But I'm excited for like the more and more things that they receive to have kind of callbacks to earlier stuff that we've forgotten about or, you know, like just I'm excited to see how that continues to develop.
Yeah. Well, this is right when Carl figures out that Zev said something about 2 different dramas. And then all of a sudden Mordecai comes in with, "Carl, Donut's health has dropped below 20%. Go now." And this moment in the book was like crazy relief that Carl just survived a city boss and we just made it. And we're like stepping out of that to immediate panic that something is wrong with Donut. It's a roller coaster happening over here. And it takes us into chapter 12 when we find out about the cleaning mob there.
The little
and,
pokey puppies.
Yeah, the little pokey puppies. And that basically it was Carl's trash that he put around Donut to keep her safe. That was kind of luring them there and stuff. But Mongo comes to the aid and is just like
Yeah.
amazing. And so they finally get like all the trash cleaned up and go away. And Carl sits down and goes, "You did it, Mongo," petting the dinosaur who made a purring noise when he patted him. "You saved Donut." I was like, oh, Mongo is literally the best. I love him so much.
I love that he's purring.
I know.
Oh, that's cute. I had to note here just that Carl put some of the street urchin needles in his inventory. He's put a lot of random shit in his inventory.
Literally anything he sees, inventory.
Inventory. And that's another one of those things that I'm like excited, kind of nervous for it to come back into play later. If it does, like, I don't know what he's going to do with these needles, but it's like the mold lion heart that's also in his inventory. Or like, there's just, that's going to be interesting. Then Carl is reflecting again on his life and his family in this moment, like after, you know, Donut is safe and everything. And he starts saying things like, they were all gone, like his family. All I had left in this world was right here. And then he says, I thought, this is my family. And I am starting to think now that these books might make me cry eventually. It didn't happen here, but it might at some point.
The cry counter will be ready for you when it does. And I mean when it does.
Oh no, I'm scared. I'm scared.
It's just
Okay.
like the book is so crazy. You don't think that it would ever get there, but
Yeah.
you get to know the characters so well, and just all the stuff that can potentially happen is just, yeah.
And
Well,
it
it
is
just
all
hits you with
whiplash.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
scene to
It like
scene.
comes out of nowhere.
It happens
Yeah.
so quick.
The stuff with Yolanda and like it's just, it's fast. But then, yeah, we're back into like something that made me laugh, which was Donut in their messages saying, "Guessing the plot lines of television shows is my superpower." And then Carl notices that because that message was in all caps, her earlier one was not in all caps. And he decides not to say anything about it, but it says it gave the impression that Donut was maturing slowly, very slowly. And I wrote, I love this for Donut, but also dang it, because this is one of my favorite things that she does.
It does say a little bit later that she's still a child and she still held many
Yeah.
childlike attitudes and beliefs, and it would be a long time before she fully matured. So we at least have
Yeah.
it for a while.
True.
And her
I feel like
childlike.
she's always doing it on purpose though. So
I kind of have a note about that later about like
Oh, really?
is what she doing on purpose, or is it all an act?
yeah.
Herself, like her natural self or whatever. So
Yeah. Oh, that's related to my next note too. Thank you for that segue.
you're welcome.
It says a few minutes later, Bea and her mom had a different conversation. So this was Carl like reflecting back on, you know, this memory where Donut was supposedly asleep. But he says that Bea and her mom were talking about Donut, and it was something he was glad that now the cat that had not overheard, which he had referenced earlier that like Bea was going to get rid of her and like trade her in or whatever. So she was planning to get a new cat. I don't know if that's specifically what he's referencing here, but I just wrote, Donut has to know. Like she's picked up on a million other tiny little details from television shows and passing conversations and like all the tea that was going on in Bea's life. There's no way she didn't already know about this, especially if Bea was having these conversations with her mom, because I feel like this is probably something she talked about more than once. So I feel like Donut knows, and she's putting on her front in all caps
All the time.
all the time.
And then Carl gets to talking about Mongo a little bit here, and he says, that little dude wasn't so little anymore. Now that he was level 10, he was starting to look scary as F. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. I am so on board for this. I've been waiting for him to grow and get bigger and do all the things.
Yes.
So.
Now he can leap 20 feet from a complete standstill.
Impressive.
That's
Which is wild.
terrifying.
Yeah. Like 2 stories.
Yeah, Carl makes another observation here. He says the idea of facing a group of, well, he notes that velociraptors, he remembers that they're like pack animals or whatever. So he says the idea of facing a group of fully grown mongos was goddamn terrifying. I didn't know what floor these things normally lived on, but I hoped we'd never have to face them. And I was just thinking, my God, if they face a group of them and Mongo like becomes their leader or something and they just start roaming around, they got a pack of velociraptors with them. Like, could you freaking imagine? I mean,
Screw the lady with the goats. We got a pack of velociraptors.
I feel
The
like
dog lady over there. Like, what?
a pack of like even if they would get even if they got like a couple more, and those that option is there for Donut's triplicate spell, just like the possibilities are
Dang, yeah.
crazy for that.
Or
Either
an
way.
enhanced pet biscuit.
Or that. Oh my gosh. Oof. Yep.
I actually had a lot of notes about this throughout the whole section because I was getting so excited about the Desperado Club because that's like one of the only like little merch designs or whatever that I had seen before I started this. So I was like so excited to find out what the Desperado Club was. And so every time they mentioned it, because they were like, we're going to go or I'm going to tell you about it. And I'd be like, yay. And then they'd do something else. So here was where they are finally right outside. And it says the spinning side read the Desperado Club. And I wrote, yay, finally.
And then immediately after talking about going inside, Donut drops the line, what kind of nightclub doesn't let your children in? We'll see about that. Referring to taking Mongo in with her. I was like, oh man.
Gosh.
After the whole conversation of her being childlike, and she gets to go in.
That takes us to chapter 13, and I had to make a note of their numbers here. So their views, 1.4 quadrillion, followers, 30 trillion, favorites, 6.2 trillion. And I just wrote a bunch of like open mouth surprise faces on their numbers here because I was just like, all right.
And it's only book 2.
Y'all were right.
Yeah.
That's
I know you.
crazy.
It's yeah.
When they hit the billion, I was just like, oh my God.
I know. It seems like so
And I
long
was
ago,
like,
doesn't it?
sure.
Yeah, that's
billions.
high.
That's great.
Crazy.
That's funny. And it is only the chapter 13 of book 2 of
Yep.
probably 10 books. So yeah, crazy. Mordecai drops this line whenever he's going into the Desperado Club about recognizing other people. And he says, don't forget, I've been on this planet for decades. During the preparation stage, we can't mingle so much. So it's only when the dungeon is active do I get to see some of my friends. And it just has these little lines that puts it in perspective of what is actually happening in this book. Like thinking it from like what is currently our world and then getting turned into this whole entire 18-floor dungeon, and the fact that Mordecai was there for decades, but like how long, I need to know like how long was the actual preparation stage? How long has this been going? Was it created specifically for this, or did they find our planet and then turn it into this? Like there's so many questions that I have there, and just thinking like right now we're doing this, but what if that was actually happening under our feet? Getting ready for a whole world dungeon. Like they've lived their whole life and didn't know that. That's just wild. So
Yeah.
I just
Makes you want to go outside more so you don't get crushed.
Oh.
You can go to the dungeon. That's
And I'll stay
insane.
inside. I think I'm okay. I'm good.
I won't last long anyway.
We become those like crazy doomsday preppers where we never go indoors and we're just like yelling at like the Walmart person to throw things outside at us or like somewhere like we refuse.
Every
Sleep in a
apocalypse
tent.
scenario that I've ever talked through with Lauren, which in her opinion is probably too many, she always says, I'm just dead. Don't bother. She's like, if it's zombies, if it's like a plague, I'm dying first. Don't try to save me. So it's been like, okay, I'll just take the kids, I guess, and go.
Like I'll try, but I don't have hope for myself in that situation. So
Yeah, I'll just bring my Kindle. You go ahead.
Everybody say bye to zombie mom.
I did think this little tidbit was really interesting from Mordecai. He said on the 6th floor, even though it's considered an urban level, this is what Jon mentioned in the recap, it's very thick with vegetation. Audette made me spend a lot of time learning about that stuff when we made it to that floor. And Carl has already mentioned like how much Mordecai knows about all of this and that he's just rambling on and not paying a whole lot of attention. So that is super interesting. And this is the pestiferous vine trope is not one that I'm very familiar with. So
Really?
excited to
It's
learn
all
more.
over the media.
Shockingly. Yeah.
I'm sick of it myself.
but then
I feel
I'm
terribly
sure, like,
uncultured.
I'm sure most people in the universe don't recognize that, but then there's Mordecai over here being like, another pestiferous vine? Like, really? Be original.
He comes up on his algorithm so much, he's like, geez, man, I like one pestiferous vine, now it's everywhere.
Oh, and then we get this little AI notification that Carl and Donut are both one of the first 10 crawlers to have achieved 1 quadrillion views. And I wrote holy carp and there's a fish emoji.
Holy carp indeed.
One of the first 10?
Yeah.
They're 2 of
And
the
they're
first
both
10.
on the list. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Out of the, 600,000 people that are left?
They make up the 1/5 of the most watched crawlers.
That's crazy.
Well, then it gets to describing the Haji achievement. Says, reward, your gold quest box has been upgraded to a platinum quest box. And that just got me excited. I was like, come on, that's got to have something top notch in it. So I was ready for them to get to that and open it.
And then the teeth caps.
Yep.
And I love that they gave them to Mongo. That was the best possible use for that. I love it.
Yep, and kind of like I said in my recap, Carl activates the scroll of upgrade, and immediately it says, my enchanted big boy boxers glowed. And I was like, of course, right after he said that he had to get pants.
I laughed at this part because Jeff Hayes actually sings and I'm free, free balling. It's very funny because I also listen at a quicker speed, so it was very funny. But
It was, yeah.
As soon as I read that, I wasn't listening to it at this point, so I was like, oh, I got to see if he sings it. So that was great.
yes, great performance there, Jeff. It
Excellent.
was very funny.
Yeah.
And another thing they got in all this loot was a possible 100,000 gold casino chip that could be gambled for more. And I thought it was funny whenever they asked Mordecai if he could get them into the casino, he just grins and says, don't worry, they know me there. And I'm like, okay, you literal handsome devil. What's going on here?
It's pretty good.
All right. It takes us into chapter 14. And this, I just had a note about Mongo's teeth caps. This is when it says he snapped his teeth, little tendrils of electricity exploded from his mouth. And I was just like, this is amazing. I was almost jumping for joy because this was so sweet. I'm always obsessed with like lightning builds or some kind of like lightning powers in like games and like RPGs and
That's
stuff.
why
So
you
this
like
is
Hunt
just-
so much.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Were you
Put
into
that together.
Infamous then?
I don't know that one.
Oh, okay. Infamous.
You
and
would love
Infamous
that one, I
2.
feel like.
Yeah. The main character you play as lightning-based powers, and if you are good or evil, changes how your powers act.
And the color of it.
It is a PlayStation game, so
really
I don't know. But yeah,
I'm sure
the
it's on
color
Steam.
scheme.
I'm going to look it
Kyle
up.
even
Okay.
has the action figure in his room.
I do. I went to get the game one day, and I was like, could I have the Infamous game? And he's like, we're all out, but I do have the advanced order, pre-order, whatever copy. I'll just sell it to you at the same cost as a regular game. It came with an action figure, a comic book, a backpack. He sold it all to me for like $50, and I was like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I just want the
What?
game.
Oh my gosh.
But I used that backpack for years, too. It's actually still in my room.
Wow.
Yeah.
The infamous
deal.
backpack.
I see what you did there.
It is a good series. 1 and 2 at least. 3 was whatever, but
Charisma is off the charts. Getting that deal.
I was like, I didn't even say anything, dude.
But for real about Mongo, it's like you would think that a Velociraptor is as cool as it's gonna get, and then they can add these
Lightning
items
teeth.
Lightning and
lightning
scissors.
teeth. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
Incredible.
They gave us a player countdown here, and it's 649,433. So I just out of curiosity was like, okay, are there any like large cities in the US that where the population would be close to this? Because the number has gone down so significantly from book 1. And from a quick Google search, so I don't know how accurate this is, but the US cities closest to this in population are Detroit, Michigan, and Louisville, Kentucky. Just
What a me fact to bring to the table. I'm sad that I
How
didn't
Kyle
do
of
that.
you. That's so
You did
Kyle of you.
exactly what
Thank
I've
you.
done too. Just a quick Google.
I was just curious.
That is cool though.
Crazy. I wonder when it'll get down to Cincinnati, and if
He'll
they'll
probably just
point
skip
it out.
right
I'm
over it and make some sassy comment about it.
Probably. Oh, and then John talked about this a little bit in his recap too, but the goat lady's situation is crazy. I figured that would come back up at some point, but I did not think about the fact that her goats, 3 of her goats, could get an enchanted pet biscuit. Sounds like one of them didn't make it, but
Well, it sounds like she got almost like all the outcomes. Like one went crazy,
Yeah.
killing a bunch of goats. One is like some demon monster pet, and then one is like standing on 2 feet holding an axe. So it's like,
she really went through it.
yeah, she really did.
Hopefully she didn't do all 3 at once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I can only picture the rams from Zootopia.
Oh, yeah.
sure. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
drug
My friend
guys or
Emily sent
whatever.
me a GIF today of this is basically what I was picturing, but I couldn't remember the character of and now I don't remember the name, the character from the movie Chicken Little. She said this is Zev, and it's the little fish with the helmet on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is like exactly what I was picturing, but I couldn't place it. So thanks for that.
After they're watching the recap show, Donut is very upset because she wasn't on it, and she just is like, I was asleep the whole time. They didn't even show me at all. And Carl says, well, sometimes even the side characters need their own episodes. And it said it mollified her. I love how quickly he learned to pander to her. And then I was like, well, maybe that's a learned skill from his recent relationship, having to be like, mollify certain things.
Fair
But
assessment.
either way, I'm glad he's doing his best to keep Donut happy.
Aren't we all? There's a description here. This was Mordecai talking about how some of the floors are themed, and we've seen like the Overcity, and we know that is something that's going to come back in lower floors. But now I'm kind of terrified of these themed floors, because this is the description we got. Last Borant season, the entire 4th floor was inside of some unseen living creature, so the crawlers were moving around intestines and whatnot. The floor was open for 20 days, and the creature they created for the level ended up with a fast-moving bacterial infection that spread over the entire dungeon. The walls started caving in on themselves and filling with gore, all unintentional. That didn't play so well with the viewers, so they probably won't do that again. Like, Probably. And that's the next floor we're going to.
It's crazy to me, too, that, like, we talked about it earlier. They can patch things. Did they never think to be like, oh, let's make it immune to the infection? They just let it rot away.
Oh, my gosh.
That was a great point, actually. Oh, that's funny. This is the moment I was talking about earlier where Donut is able to get something for pretty cheap at one of the stores. And Carl says, I'm starting to think you actually had this all planned out when you picked that class. And she says, of course I did. I knew we'd be selling everything on this floor, so I picked a merchant class. Miss Beatrice didn't call me Princess Moneybags for nothing, which is probably not how Beatrice intended that name. But still, this is where I was saying it's hard to know if this is an intentional choice by Donut and she did actually know what she's doing, or if her like acting / improvising skills are just so so good that she's able to, I don't know, just keep going with it and kind of goes with the flow. It might be a mix of both, but it's hard to know, obviously, without a Donut POV. But yeah.
And Carl does correct her on that nickname, too. It was Princess Money Pit because of all the money that they spent on her. But
that's
either
what
way,
we should
yeah.
be calling Minnie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is hard to tell.
Yeah, I would love a Donut POV though.
It'd be fun.
I want to think that she knows what she's doing and she has it all going on and she's just playing for the camera at all times.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
For those of you who don't know, Minnie had 3 extra surgeries when she was a very small kitten. And I used to say this is the most expensive free cat that I've ever received. And in our vet, they did x-rays. And he was like, this cat's an orthopedic nightmare. I was like, great.
You said 4
So she's
extra
great.
surgeries?
Yeah, so she was spayed when we first got her.
Oh.
But then she swallowed 14 hair ties and had to have her belly cut open to remove them. And then one of her legs gave out when she was a year and a half.
Yeah.
And it was like one of her back legs and she couldn't walk. And so we took her to the vet. They did x-rays and she had to have pins put in her knees to stabilize her knees because her knee just like quit. And then it happened to the other leg like 6 months later and we had to get the other leg fixed. So she has pins in both of her back legs.
So to get pins out, and the second ones were to get pins in.
Wild.
No,
Ties out.
hair ties, thankfully,
Hair ties,
not bobby
okay,
pins.
not hair
That
pins,
would have been rough.
I was going to
yeah.
say, how did you even eat those?
Yeah.
That's crazy, though.
Princess Money
I
Pit.
remember that in pictures of Minnie in a cone in the laundry room.
Yeah. She had the cone of shame and like half a shaved butt.
Yeah. That was pretty funny for a while.
And then
And
the
we-
other
and we
half
had
was shaved.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had
Literally
a
the back
6-month-old
half of her.
baby.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like,
Poor
why are we
cat.
paying for surgeries for this cat? But it was just her knees. She was healthy otherwise. She had
got
a lot of
humbled quick.
life left in her.
Yeah.
She knows you're talking about her, so she's
Yeah, that's
She's
you. My little princess money pet. That's
All right. After they are done shopping, Mordecai walks them to the edge of town. He says, no quests, no elites, kill mobs. When you find a boss, make sure it's a neighborhood boss and nothing bigger. Keep in touch. Get back here before dark. Easy, Donut said. And I wrote, God damn it, Donut. Immediate. It was an immediate, like, ugh. Donut. Why?
I had another note here about how I love the kind of progression of how they're working together and stuff. And this is where it says the monster was called the Dispenser, and it looked like a giant manta ray thing. It blended in with the entire side of the building and tried to drop on us as we passed. We'd been ready, and Donut attacked with 2 reanimated brain boilers. Once it peeled itself off the wall, we had a clockwork Mongo run at it with a stick of dynamite in each hand. The whole fight lasted less than a minute. John had a note about this too.
I
but
did. I said, I feel robbed.
He had the emojis at the ready.
Yes. But like,
I was
like clockwork
Good emojis.
Mongo running with sticks of dynamite. Just,
Pretty cool. Think about it.
of all the ways
Well,
to combine those 3 characters and their skills.
Didn't they say they named that move as well? Either earlier.
Oh, I think so. They started
they
naming all the...
the Boomy Boy was the Mongo holding 2 dynamites.
Is there fan art of a Mongo?
Oh, I'm
Mongo
sure.
holding 2
Great
dynamites?
question.
There's
Can
gotta
you find
be.
that for us?
I'll put it on my list to find. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great question. And then at the end of book 1, which we've mentioned, I think, a couple times now, it says that there are clowns and dead hookers in book 2. And so in the first chapter section, we got the clowns. And in this chapter section, we got the hookers. And I just was like, check. Okay.
Check. All right.
I loved the AI's very non-descriptive description of this too. When they turned the corner, it's just like a pile of hookers. Well, isn't this awkward? It doesn't explain it at all. It's
Great.
just like, yeah,
That's
thanks.
what they are. Well, and it's like you read that sentence at the end of book 1 and you're like, what in the world? And then you're here and you're like, okay, yeah, sure, we're doing this. Yeah.
I was warned.
Well, and then I'm adding this to my list of my favorite donut lines because Gum Gum is like, oh, good, it's you. I was hoping to catch you on your return today. And Donut says, and you thought to greet us with a mountain of rotting prostitutes. I'm not sure where you're from, but the cultured among us no longer use corpses as icebreakers. Next time, maybe just bring Carl a milkshake. He likes milkshakes.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
This just caught me so off guard. And she's just reprimanding old Gum Gum. Oh, Minnie, get down. Sorry, that was probably really loud. She is like really insistent right now. That got me. Oh, and then this is chapter 15, my first note after we had already seen the sign and I said, yay, finally. Now we're actually entering the Desperado Club. And I wrote, yay, finally. And I love Mordecai's description where he says, this place is like your Las Vegas Strip mixed with Mardi Gras and the discos of the 1970s. I want to go. To the Desperado Club.
Sounds fun.
Somebody should hold like a Desperado Club ball night. And it's just that Las Vegas Strip
That's
mixed with Mardi Gras and disco 70s.
Could do it on one of the book releases or something.
That's an
I
excellent idea. If someone hasn't already done this.
Serve some dirty Shirleys,
Yes.
bottles of bourbon.
Oh. Yeah.
Keep going, John.
Never
We're really
mind.
enjoying this. Keep
We
going.
just
going
brought
until
the
we're
whole
out of the club.
experience to you. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it was once a goal of mine to have that whole dance memorized.
Oh.
Do you?
No, I don't. I never
How
got
much
there.
of it
So
would you say
exciting.
you're comfortable dancing?
Probably 0.
Oh, okay. So-
Yeah,
You're going to learn the other
Okay.
half? Like, what are you trying to ask, Kyle?
I don't know. I don't know. But like his solo dance, like when you first really see him, like in the club or whatever.
There's
most
still
people
time.
Probably don't know. There is still time. I could still pull that off. If you don't know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta. There's
Yeah.
the main one of the Bee Gees songs in there where he is breaking it down. In there, he kind of like he's like dancing with this girl, and he's just like the song comes on, and he just basically leaves her and goes solo, and it's
As he
just
should.
it's amazing. Anyway.
Well, if there's ever a Desperado Club night ball event, I don't know, That will be
Yeah.
your goal. You can learn it for that.
I mean, that would have to be on there, right? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It would have to.
The scheduled part of the program where you do that dance? Absolutely.
Yes.
The spotlight on you,
Yes.
the crowd
Just
gives you the space
leave
you
everyone
need.
else.
Yeah. And then just go off
Yeah.
do my thing. Anyway.
I do have a goal of, with, no dancing experience, but something I would love to do eventually is learn. Of course, I'm picking like the hardest one possible, but the dance from White Christmas. That's the best things happen while you're dancing.
Wow.
That scene?
That
Yeah,
is
that's-
That's probably one of the loftiest
feat.
dreams that I have.
Right. Yeah.
That is.
But you could learn that with me.
Never
and
say
then we could-
never. First of all.
The
Have I started?
The-
No. Do I have a plan? Absolutely not. Would I
Well,
love
you've
to
seen
do
it.
You can slow down the tempo. Like no one says you have to go at that speed.
start out slower.
I mean, if you're
or
gonna
whatever.
do it.
Just
Right.
you got to install a zip line for that one. That's involved
Yeah.
in the dance. You
Uh-huh.
can make it a boat,
Yep.
and it can happen.
What's really
Well, the
just a
only-
bridge, I guess.
Well,
The
that's
only,
they go on a
uh,
boat for a minute, but yeah.
The only dance that I ever sought to learn was Powerline's dance from a Goofy movie, including like the
Yeah.
perfect cast or whatever.
Yeah.
But then also following up Goofy movie 2, Goofy does disco dance, and I was like, oh, I've got to learn his dance. But he does those like impossible cartoonish like spins and splits in that one. But I do
Kyle
remember
perfected, so
the perfect yeah,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna do it right now.
That's part of the programming as well.
the perfect cast specifically was something that I remember going to my parents and be like, did I do it? And they'd be like, yeah, that was great.
Okay, but I love that you actually practiced it, because John and I were both like, it's a dream of mine. I've never done it.
This was also something that I practiced with the body of like an energetic 8-year-old with no knee issues. So like
Fair.
currently if I found any dance to do, I'd be like, that is a financial commitment and possibly an ER bill.
that's pretty good. I don't really have a story
Okay.
to go with that. I dance
Just can
for my,
dance
for my
beautifully
job
all the
and
time.
You dance all the
choreograph-
time.
choreograph stuff and yeah, but
Yeah.
I can
So
help you
Lauren
out.
will be their
I got
choreographer
you.
for.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. For the 3-part mix of Goofy movie, White Christmas, and Saturday Night Fever.
Coming to a
both disco.
made-up event that we hope one of you puts on soon.
But like not too soon, because we need to prepare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
give us time.
Give us a
Take
little
your time.
Yeah.
Well, the 2 weeks until this episode come out should be plenty.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
You just did a 24-hour musical. You can do it.
True. Yeah.
That is true.
You'd be
I
great.
didn't choreograph it though, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. My next highlight was Carl saying cats don't drink cocktails, and Donut saying cats don't shoot lasers from their eyes either. But here we are, Carl. Mama needs a night off. And I said, I changed my mind. This is my new favorite Donut line. Mic drop. That's it. I'm going to
that
start
is so
saying
good.
this every time we go on a
her
date
best.
night.
Well, this is her getting her Dirty Shirley. And when we went to Enchanticon last year, Kyle and I and our friend Dustin, who came with us, we all got Dirty Shirleys at the ball specifically because of this. And we all were like, oh, let's try one, whatever. And they're really good. We did not drink it from a bowl, but maybe after a few we would have gone there. But I only had one, so.
I told her I was
Gotta-
upset because I was like, all I needed to do was buy vodka at Walgreens, which I work at, and I could have made us a Dirty Shirley for this episode, but I didn't.
Oh no. Oh, next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let me down.
Dang it.
And then we are in the Desperado Club. They're checking everything out. And he says most of the rooms were labeled with floating neon signs, all in that same 1920s speakeasy style font. And so I did put a picture from the official merch site. This is like on the t-shirts and the mugs and all the things. This is probably the art that you saw, I would guess, Con.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because I know you said you saw it
I don't
earlier.
think
But
I've
anyways,
seen this before, but it's cool.
yeah, it is super cool. And I just imagine the same font, but it says like penis parade and like all that kind of stuff. 'Cause
Bitches.
it's all the same font. Yeah, exactly. It's very funny.
I love that.
But don't go on their website because it's merch for the whole series.
Oh,
Yeah.
So don't
okay.
do
You
that
get
for
spoiled.
yourself. But I copied the picture there for you.
copy. Okay. Thank you. I
Copy,
appreciate that. I really loved Mordecai explaining that the inside of the club exists on a different plane where you're like in the same space as any other crawler, which was so cool. And then it didn't even occur to me until Lucy Amar got brought up that they could have seen her in here, but now her membership has been revoked. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Still, I mean,
like,
called
all
it,
of
I
them.
guess, because like,
And the goat lady
Yeah.
and everybody. Yeah, crazy.
oh, it's crazy.
And speaking of Lucia Marr, it sounds like she's a freaking beast. And I had a thought here. I was like, I wonder if she'll end up being like the first crawler that they, run into and end up like having to fight or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that was crazy learning about like Carl having to dance around Signet and the other elites to learn that like, no, she just one-shot one with a mace and then got kicked out of the club. I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Then we meet Quint, who is a hybrid, like half djinn creature. I don't remember what the other half of him is, but he is the pharmacist. And part of his description just made me laugh. That's the only reason it's here. But it says, nobody knows for certain why there are so many hybrid djinns out there. But one theory suggests that rather ill-timed expletives is the cause of the population explosion. It is like said or whatever that the person that was in control of the djinn's lamp in the resulting 3 wishes once said like, F this forest or F this level or F you all, and some iteration thereof. And the enslaved genie took that as a challenge. It's very funny to me. And
Here's Quint.
Kyle has this like weird book about genies, and the wishes are very much like that. You have
Wait,
the
wait,
weird, like,
okay.
8 billion
I know which one you're
genies.
talking about.
What
Never
the heck?
mind.
We
I
get
was
some
like, wait a
background
minute.
info on that. What?
It's a comic book series called 8 Billion Genies, and everyone gets a genie.
Oh.
And they all get
Okay.
one wish. And it's kind of weird like that, where they would say
is.
something and it would be like taken very literal and stuff. And that's what made me think of.
Sorry, you threw me for a second. I was like, yes,
I know, you looked at me like I was a
I
weirdo.
thought you meant
It's
it was like a lore and like explanation sort of book, but
No,
I
it's
wish.
like it's a
comic book.
comic book. Thank you.
Yeah, 8 billion genies. Great.
They start making a deal with Quint, and he's like, make it 4 bottles and we'll have a deal. And Donut says, while very drunk, we'll give you 3, and you also give me the potion that stops making the world be wavy. And I didn't know I needed a drunk donut in my life, but I did. It was amazing. It was the best.
Drunken
And-
donut.
Drunken donut. That's cute.
Mordecai's kind of checking out some of the stuff that he just bought from Quint, and while he's looking at some stuff, Carl asks Quint what happened at the club the night before, and he describes what happened, and Carl's like, holy shit, that's Lucia Marr. And Donut says, those dogs sound just awful, her voice slurring. Bitch-ass Rottweilers, almost as bad as Cocker Spaniels, think they're so smart. And then a few paragraphs later, in Donut's point of view, it says, Donut sat up straight. Carl, I just got a notification. It says I can now open my fan box. And I was just like, interesting that this happened to pop up right after she said that about Lucia's 2 dogs. I was like, uh-oh. I thought for sure this was going to be, I don't even know if it would have been kind of a dig or something for her.
Yeah.
But she ended up getting the picture, which was super interesting. And then I think this is kind of toward the end of them leaving, but Carl notices that kind of what Mordecai, the things that he's been buying and just like trying to put together. He says the real reason Mordecai had wanted to come here was obvious. He was collecting a war chest of potion making supplies, all in preparation for the 4th floor when we would be able to set him up with an alchemy table. And I am so excited for the possibilities of what he's going to be able to do to help them. And honestly, the first thing that I thought of when Carl brought this up was The Witcher 2, because like alchemy and potion making and like drinking potions for combat is so important to the combat aspect of Witcher 2, to surviving and killing bosses. Like, you literally can't get past like the first section of the story if you don't know what you're like, if you're not able to like make potions or don't know what you're doing. It's very difficult. So this just reminded me of that. So I'm super excited. You muted.
Oh no! Oh no!
Wow.
John and I both like waited a second.
So
Is it really happening?
Oh my gosh!
Just because I don't
Guys,
think it's ever happened to you,
I don't think it has
is why.
either.
And it happened to me in a meeting today too. I don't know what's
What you
going on.
Oh
doing?
my god.
I don't know.
Fool you
Monday,
once.
Although-
right?
I'm gonna put like a confetti blast over. I'm gonna edit the hell out of that.
You're muted.
Yeah. I'm gonna edit the hell out of
Audio
that clip,
listeners
dude.
are going to be so confused.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a greeting card in the mail from Jon celebrating.
Oh my god.
When this episode releases, you'll forget for 2 weeks.
Next year, this is the anniversary of when you were muted.
Pretty good.
To be fair, it happened earlier because I stayed home with Daisy today because she was sick, and she was. I was doing I was in my team meeting, and we all go around and like give our little status reports. So I had to talk for a minute at the very end of the meeting, and the whole time that I was giving my status report, Daisy was like sitting right next to me coloring, and she was going ba 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 like right next to the computer. So I
She's
stayed.
giving you some
hi.
intro music.
Yes, it was like a nice some ambiance for my little weekly update. Anyway, what I was trying to say when I was muted is that Carl had just asked Mordecai about being quote unquote immortal, where like if he dies in the dungeon, he's basically just transported out, like he'll be free. And Carl thinks, why is he so upset about being chosen as manager then? And why did Audette know he was going to be pissed? I was missing something important, and he just moves on. Of course. And I wrote, well, now I just think Mordecai is going to die. And I don't like that. I don't like that. Especially with talking about how excited we are to get to the 4th floor, and that, I feel like for the trajectory of the series that he would last longer than that, but now I'm scared.
I was wondering why you were grimacing when Jon was saying he was collecting a war chest to be ready for the 4th floor, and you went, ooh. I was like, but that makes sense now.
Yeah. And in like a book like this, like no one is safe. So
Safe.
yeah.
Not even Gum Gum.
How could they?
To be fair, Donut is the only one who's almost died twice. The juicer and the water lily. So,
is a good point.
and that
True.
constitution isn't doing her any favors.
It's getting better though, sort of. Flower gleam and glow.
All right, chapter 16. They go into the Silk Road, which is described as like almost like a farmer's market with people selling stuff and everything. He's just seeing all the things and kind of describing some of the stuff they pass. And this one line, it made me pause for a moment. It says, we walk past shops selling black bubbling potions and round magic items called spider shields that cost 200,000 gold. So I am now taking up a collection to gather 200,000 gold so I can get myself one of these and have a spider shield. So if anyone would like to donate, you may DM me. That's all I have.
You know, that's a funny take because I read that as like shields made out of a spider.
That's what I thought too.
Oh,
I
no.
was like, oh, it's a shield with
I-
spiders on it.
So,
I
but
took
if
it
you
as
really want
a
one of
shield
those,
from spiders. Because it's a potion.
That's I'm guessing. Yeah, now I'm
Yeah,
on
round
board.
magical items, yeah.
Now I'm here with you. I think that's what it is. Yes.
If it was a
be
shield
fair,
of
it-
spiders, I would have stopped reading. But instead, I want one.
well, they do have spiders that are beach ball sized, so you probably need one of those in the dungeon.
From
that would
make
Reading
sense
Throne
if
of
it's a
Glass,
potion.
that's not so bad. We're going to be okay.
That's true.
It also doesn't specify if it keeps them out or in, so you probably want to make sure which one it's doing.
Ooh, that's a good point. It's not a spider
Well-
collector.
Yeah, you just roll it and it sort of vacuums them out. We also meet
Ew.
Yeah,
We
gross.
also do meet Pustule, the hobgoblin merchant, in this
Also
section.
gross.
Though her description is horrendous.
Yes.
And we get some fan art of her there with her little unicorn tee that she's wearing.
That was,
And she's also a
No bra.
very good
clearly.
listener.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it's not. It was not that.
No.
It's an unfortunately accurate depiction.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a
She had
good
a
way
bow
to
in her hair.
describe it.
She tried
Yep.
today. She really did.
Which again is one of those things where it's like, I don't know who's sitting down and being like, I think Pustule needs to be drawn. I think I need to bring that into the world.
Oh man.
But,
It just like
we-
there's so much art for the series. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so loved, and it's
Yes.
literally every tiny thing. So I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you can
so I
find
just saw the
some
Carasu.
uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you can find
Well,
some
there-
fan art of the beach ball spider though, that'd be fun.
Sure, yeah, I'll add it to my list here.
Why do you hate me? Hurry, everyone! I really need this spider shield. You really need to donate now. Okay.
My only real note about Pustule is that she's a good listener. As we learn when Donut like says under her breath, like, she is ugly to Carl. And Pustule just responds with, I have very good hearing. And even I think when they walk away, they're like 50 feet away and she says something and she yells back. She's like, wow, you'd think a person that dealt with bombs would be deaf.
I mean, kind of valid. Well, they do. She makes that comment about her being ugly and they walk in and Donut goes, oh, sweetie, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Let's start over. And she says, yeah, okay, we wouldn't want anyone getting off on any feet. And it says, Donut gave me a sidelong glance. Well, it might be a little too late for that. Oh, the AI likes his tootsies. It's funny. Oh, and then, unfortunately, we do come across the corpse of Gum Gum the orc. And it said, like, her chest had been ripped open and everything. And I feel bad for Gum Gum. Like, she just wanted to help all her friends.
Yeah.
Sad.
In that same moment, we meet the Krassu, which was described as the head of a woman and all of her organs just dangling beneath the neck, floating in the air, which is...
It's kind of cool.
I think kind of cool. The AI even says, like, that's horrifying. Who comes up with this crap?
Yeah.
Which Matt is sitting there writing about himself.
Yeah, typing it.
This picture specifically has, like, some, like the lines around it to make it kind of look like a circle. And her hair's kind of crazy. It kind of looks like she's in one of those little electric shock things. You put your hand on that little orb. Oh, yeah. Makes your hair kind of go up. That's what she looks like. Yeah.
And soon after, like, seeing this corpse and all the Krassu, though, they also meet the elf who shows up and starts sort of monologuing, talking about, like, the big plans that he has when suddenly Carl kicks him in the nuts, Donut magic missiles his head off, and Mongo pounces to eat the rest. And Carl just goes, who the hell was that? Like, they didn't even say anything to each other, just insta-killed this guy.
Obliterated.
Did not ask any questions. Oh, it was just so funny to me.
Well, and they're like trying to come up with all these like plays and plans and all this stuff, but instead this guy's hands start glowing red and all of them just immediate, in sync, perfect attack. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
And that takes us to chapter 17, our final chapter in this chapter section. Yeah, they're taking a look at his uniform. Donut says, Carl, look, there's a patch on his arm. There's two patches, a sew-on and a heat transfer. The arm one is hand-sewn with a chain stitch. It's good work, but it clearly wasn't made on a shifley like the nameplate on the breast. And Carl's like, what? What are you talking about? What the hell is a shifley? And she goes, I don't know how I know. A shifley is a type of embroidery machine. I must have watched a show about it or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this Scuttleifily? Is it something about patches? I was like, this is so random. But that's the only explanation I could come up with, but they don't go into it at all here.
Oh my gosh.
It's gotta be.
I hope it is. Yeah.
I haven't looked anything up on this, so I'm just like, that's gotta be what it is.
Don't look up anything for this
Which is
whole
super
book.
fun.
Yeah, it's
Fair.
anything at all. I will mention quickly, speaking of looking things up, whenever you eventually do get caught up to the end of the book, or people who already are, there is a place that people keep track of Carl's inventory, and it's really funny because they keep track of everything canonically put into his inventory, all to just be like, okay, what could he possibly use in this situation?
That's amazing.
Amazing.
It's pretty funny.
That's so impressive.
Back to with the chapter we're on, Donut says they have to finish the quest now because Gum Gum the orc who first attempted to recruit them died, and probably only because they took it to begin with. And Carl doesn't really hesitate to relent on that. And I just wrote that I'm so proud of one of them being a good influence at a time, because it usually is like one of them's convincing the other to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, that's the perfect team. They're the perfect duo.
So
I
cute.
love them. Well, Donut opens up her fan box, and it is a small framed picture of Bee. Reading all of this paragraph and just judging Bee more and more. Like, we know kind of how she treated Carl and all this stuff, but like this is just also on her just like life choices, I think, on this one, where it said in the picture Bee wore a bikini and she was laughing, taking a selfie, sitting on her ex-boyfriend's lap. And it was Brad. Brad was the guy's name. He worked construction part-time and modeled part-time. I knew that because he was the only line of information on his profile. His Instagram handle was Brad_the_Chad69. possibly the douchiest name in history of the world. He also did the male version of the duck face in his photos. And since I never met this dude in real life, every picture I've seen of him made him look like he was taking a shit. It's like, B, come on. Like, I don't know how Carl was, every day in their whole relationship, but it's got to be better than this. Gotta be. But I did try to search the name Brad _ Chad 69 just to see if there was somebody out there with a handle of that. And the Dungeon Crawler Color wiki came up, and there was an AI photo of this scene.
Oh my gosh.
B sitting on some dude's lap at the beach and his little duck face. So.
Out of curiosity, did you look up the handle on Instagram?
No, I just Googled it.
I'm going to do that right now because you just gave me that idea.
There's got to be. I hope it's somebody that's like just genuinely so douchey.
69.
I hope it's somebody like pretending to be this guy.
I'm assuming it's the one that's followed by Matt Dinniman.
Okay.
It only has 2 images, though, and none of them are...
Is his information in his profile that he's a model, part-time model and construction worker?
It's just talking about female characters in the book series, and all it says is, this person's pretty hot, yo. This person's pretty hot, yo.
All right.
So, good on him.
Brad.
Yeah.
And also B and Brad. Whatever, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's the
judging her.
takeaway.
That's the takeaway.
Oh no. Well, and I keep thinking like somebody like B is gonna show up in the dungeon or something. But like Brad would also be kind of funny because now Donut has a picture of him. And she and Carl would both recognize Brad immediately. So
As would all their fans, apparently.
yep.
They've voted for it.
Maybe because he's in the dungeon and they know that. That could be that. I'm adding that to my thoughts and theories. Moving on. Carl's like opening one of his boxes or gifts, and it said, "I wasn't expecting the basket." And I was like, was I right? Is this like a skin weaving thing? But then Donut goes, "How is that pronounced? High-lie?" And I was like, John!
Good job, John.
I know. I wrote a
Shout
theory
out
so
to John.
quickly confirmed. Yes.
Yes, I was so excited for him to catch up specifically for this. Like usually John reads ahead of wherever I'm at, but I was like, I need you to read this section immediately. I was so excited.
And then, so he puts it on. He's talking about how it's actually like metallic. It kind of looks like a basket, I'm guessing, but the material is actually metallic, which is pretty sweet. But then he starts talking about some of the details of it. He says, anything I summoned into my hand from my inventory could be pushed directly into the scoop, and conversely, I could make a claw and remove the item in the scoop. And I was like, this is sweet. This is amazing.
This is so cool.
And also that there was like almost like a little cord or like pull cord or something. He said, I pulled it. The entire scoop yanked in on itself, forming and twisting over my right forearm like a metallic brazier. Like it just kept getting better. Then finally he says, I pulled an orange into my hand. I was worried it'd be a little too fat for the Chistera, but it automatically widened itself. And he thinks to himself, hey, that's pretty cool. And I was like, shut up. I was like, that is amazing.
What?
Incredible.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
love this
Like,
so
no
much.
big deal.
That's pretty cool.
And whenever he's like talking about it, Zev is like, yay, people are pretty excited about this. I'm glad you got it. I was like, yeah, we are. This is freaking
This
amazing.
is so sweet.
It's also, I feel like...
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
It's just, especially after they were kind of like warned that trolls kind of get on it. And so I don't think we were expecting anything great. And then he gets this like super helpful item.
Yeah, amazing.
I feel like also like the episode where you were theorizing about Highlight was probably the closest I've come to what you guys have said you felt, where I was like, there's no way that he didn't read ahead. I was like, he just knows about Highlight. I've never heard of that sport in my life.
Oh my gosh. That did
seen
seem
some,
so random that you knew that.
I've seen
Yeah.
some like very random documentaries about Highlight. This has been like years ago, but I haven't forgotten it. So, yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. It's very Carl-like of you, because Carl only had that one experience of it.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, they finally make their purchase of the bombs that they're getting and this conversation of hobgoblin, hoblobbing, lobbers, lobbing, hobbing, goblin, lobbing, lobs. I was like, I don't know that I followed this conversation or what actually does what or where or things, but I know that he got some hobgoblin bombs and he's gonna lob them at things. I've got that much down. So,
Yeah.
yep,
Perfect. That's all you really need to know. That's fine. It's gonna be great.
it'll be fine.
Yeah. Speaking of things that you really need to know, I would love to know more about this that Mordecai said, where he was like, we're brushing on a subject I was going to bring up at a later time. We've touched on it before, gods and goddesses, in-game deities. We'll get to what they really are later. You don't need to worry about that on this floor. And I was like, Mordecai, I want to know. I want to know things. I mean, he
I
tells
love
a
that
little
you
bit,
wrote
but-
no with it at the end.
No.
You really want
That's
to
what I
know
wrote. I do. Mordecai.
We did get a little bit about Apito, the Oak Mother, or Mother of
True.
all gods, and a really cool and accurate depiction of how taking different writings on the same thing, written from different times, is a great way to form a religion based on loosely translated, non-contextual apocrypha, which is pretty neat. They basically taught you how to make a cult.
That's pretty neat.
Yep.
Look at that.
Hey, neat.
You can tell that it's a cult because of the way that it is.
Oh my gosh.
What was that? Like, I think it's a King of the Hill quote where they pull up and he's like, is this the cult? And they're like, we're not a cult. We're a community that preaches love. And he's like, yeah, this is the cult. They all just go.
Okay, so they're talking to Fitz here, and because he apparently Gum Gum was one of his top customers, and she gone now, and Donut kind of uses her charm a little bit to get some info about what Fitz knows about this whole thing, and he, is talking about the Krassu. He says, well, this is coming from Mordecai, but they're all talking about it, and Mordecai says Krassu are usually henchwomen for something else. And he says, I'm thinking you two might have a lich problem. And I was like, I know something about liches. Necromancy, often necrotic damage dealing. So they're going to want some magic resistance here. So just tuck that away for later. And Fitz says, but it's unusual for the undead to rattle about. The magistrate, being a black cleric and all, he can control the undead. And I was like, that was immediately suspect number one. He's definitely the guy. So I'm glad they're going to check him out.
And then the last line that we get here was scrawled onto her back. This was the prostitute that fell from the heavens the night before. In torn bloodless flesh were the words, "No, you won't." And I wrote, what the fuck?
Yeah. And it seems to come like in response to a private conversation that they were having.
This thing they said
Yeah.
before they fell
Where he was
asleep.
like, yeah, we'll find these people and take care of them or whatever.
So immediately.
It was so immediate. They just didn't see the note till the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cray cray. Yep.
Pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
And
That's necromancers for you.
classic.
Classic necromancer.
Dead
Classic
hooker trope.
necromancer,
That
dead
trope.
hooker from the sky trope.
Hooker. Hooker hardly know her.
You know what? I said it, and I was hoping I got away with it. I want another gate pass to live this down
show.
immediately.
Happy birthday, you hooker.
Always sunny. Hoors.
Happy
Hooker's
birthday.
a Canadian hooker, so.
Oh my God. Wow. Anyway.
Oh, that's good.
no.
Okay, well, that is where we leave this episode. Let's start talking about our thoughts and theories, or I guess this is just our thoughts overall, characters, world building, favorite moments, the writing, all the things. And we're starting with John.
Yeesh. Love the Chistera. Amazing. With Carl's bombs and stuff that he's got, he's going to be able to do some damage with this thing. I am so pumped. I'm really excited also, like I mentioned, to see how Mordecai can help them with potions and alchemy and all that stuff. And I'm still loving this floor. I'm excited to see more of it. I'm like hoping that we'll still be on this floor by the end of this book and maybe like a little bit of the next. I was just like thinking through this. I'm like, I hope it doesn't end in this last chapter section, but I won't be all out of sorts about it. It's fine. But at the same time, it seems like finishing out this quest might be like the last thing that they kind of just take care of on this floor before heading down. So I don't know. Again, love that Mongo is growing. How Carl says he's looking scary as F. And I can't wait to see the new chompers in action more.
Nice. What do you got,
Chomp,
Con?
chomp.
Chomp, chomp.
Chomp, chomp. Oh my gosh. Let's
What a
bring that back.
callback.
Wow.
Bring it back.
Chomp, chomp. This book is moving so fast, and I am so here for it. Annette, of course, remains my favorite character, and I'm loving Mordecai's new involvement as their manager. I'm very excited to see more of how he can help them through everything. And every time Lucia Marr is mentioned, I'm also getting more and more excited to finally see her on page, although I still think it's going to be a while before that happens. But the world building is just really excellent, and it seems like it's still so much richer than anything we've seen yet. But it's like it builds really well, and I love the kind of pacing of that.
Yeah, I am so shocked that we are already at 60%. Like when did
Yeah.
like I feel like we just started this one and it's just flying by. And this one is I think the smallest of the whole series. And so that might be part of why I'm feeling it's just going so fast. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm really thankful that I'm on my reread reading the intro stuff to the Desperado Club. For example, like I did not remember that the little sound bubble thing that kind of had it, or just even some the basic rules of the space in general. It was just nice to have a little refresh on that. And then, I just continue as I read to just feel like so impressed at Matt Dinniman for not only just the world he's created, but also just these insane storylines. And each one of these like little shows that they're going through, you know, like that's in the galaxy could be its own book. And yet he's written like all these characters and this deep lore about them and all of the things. And somehow he's keeping track of it. And it doesn't feel info dumpy or too overwhelming. Like it's just paced so quickly, but like in such a way that it's still easy to follow. And it's just really impressive. Just in general. So big shout out for Matt on that one. How about you, Kyle?
For me, even though I'm thrilled with where we're at, I am constantly and impatiently waiting for the next section. Every time we finish one, it takes everything I have not to freak out when we get hints or mentions of things that are yet to come, like even way down the line. But lucky for me and all of us, Matt takes very little time having his characters blow up magic missile and chew through the plot to get to the next insane thing. So I'm sure we'll get to even more great stuff in no time at all. What could that great stuff be? What are your theories, John?
So really curious about this whole side quest that they've gotten with the hookers. Like even they said it doesn't seem worth it because they're only getting a silver box. So like I'm curious to see kind of how it develops into something more. And I'm guessing if the necromancer is behind it all, which he is, then like I have to imagine they'll get some pretty sweet stuff off of this guy aside from the box or whatever. So I think it would be amazing if they run into a pack of velociraptors and Mongo could recruit them. That's like my dream for his next stepping stone. I think that'd be sweet. I wrote mind-boggling implications. Absolutely. I hope they don't run into Lucia anytime soon because she seems like an absolute unit right now. I'm surprised we haven't seen Frank or Maggie, especially with the specifics of the Desperado Club, how they can you can go into the main room wherever you are and everybody's in that same room. So I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get something there. I foresee this Gum Gum quest becoming more intense again because I think the magistrate is involved, and especially after the last moments of the chapter section. So I think it might get a little wild maybe if they face him in a fight, because I feel like generally speaking they haven't really come up to a very magically or magic focused enemy yet. Not too much anyway. So interested to see how they overcome that.
Yeah.
Con?
I do still think it's going to be a while before we meet Lucia Marr on page. I'm still convinced B or Brad or Ferdinand is going to show up at some point, but also not yet. I'm very interested in this new show that they're about to go on and what kind of connections they'll make there, since we've already had like one incredibly advantageous connection with Audette and one incredibly obnoxious connection with the little piggy boy. So this will be interesting for like a third show experience. I'm also anticipating Vicente coming up again at some point, just because he got a name, and then they mentioned again his little group of mall cops or whatever they are. And then I feel like it would make sense for this book to end maybe as they're descending to the fourth floor. But I don't know. The plot moves so quickly that I could see it maybe getting there before the end of the book. I don't know. I just would be really surprised if they're already on the fourth floor by the time this book ends. But yeah, like John said, maybe they would be still on the third when they go, into the next one. So I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, we're not going to tell you anything.
Dang it.
That takes us to the cry counter. And while none of us have cried yet, Con might be on the path to doing it.
Well, now I'm not going to.
Okay, just kidding. I never said that. And no one heard it.
Well, I think it's safe to say that we're all hookered by now. So we'll be covering chapter 18 through the end of this book in next week's episode. As always, you can find our full episode schedule pinned on our Instagram if you'd like to read it along with us. We do have Discord channels for both spoiler-free discussion that matches our reading pace and future series spoiler chats where you can spoil yourself and others. You can join us through Patreon to read with us or read ahead with others.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Between Pages and Friends. Check out BetweenPagesandFriends.com for merch, events, and to sign up for our newsletter to keep up with all things BP and F. Until next time, stay wordy, stay nerdy, don't stress, and stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye, hookers. Happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Kyle.